as well.
Oh, darn. The vacuum cleaner just tripped a breaker.
Honey, never vacuum while I'm making popcorn.
Tripping breakers can indicate a potential fire hazard. You really should have it checked out by Crosby Electric, serving the river region for almost 50 years.
Sweetheart, are you ever afraid that lightning could damage our electrical system?
Afraid? Oh, come on. No. Maybe we should call Crosby. Just give him a call.
Full house surge protection can protect you and your possessions. For an assessment and for all your electrical needs, call Crosby Electric 272-2085 or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. So much to get to today, including the testimony of Robert Hur. We also have new numbers coming out on inflation, some craziness going on at Space Camp up in Huntsville, Alabama, and much more. But, it's that time of the week. Let's talk to the one, the only Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, how you doing today?
I'm fine, Joey. How are you, my dear friend?
I'm doing fantastic, other than when I got back to Montgomery from the Boston trip, I'm like, I do not miss this pollen. My car was yellow. It's like, it's hitting me hard, so I'm powering through. I'm just letting you know so I can let the audience know. But I want to start with where I guess you were, the Vatican, Rome. The Pope recently coming under fire for, of all things, calling for peace. What do you make of this reaction to the pontiff saying, hey, maybe we should give a negotiation peace, stop the killing, give it a try?
The Pope said it in... By the way, I had dinner with the Pope the other night. It's a long story.
Whoa!
I don't have time to explain it now because I have another hit in about 4 minutes. But okay. I was living in the guest house where the Pope lives, and was there for 4 days with my 25 colleagues discussing Aquinas and natural law. And the Pope walked in and sat down next to us and had dinner. He didn't sit with us, but he was right there. Surreal.
Yeah.
The Pope used a phrase, the white flag of courage. Now, to most of the world, the white flag is a sign of lacking courage, but the Pope actually meant it in a philosophical way, that it takes more courage to acknowledge when you're going to lose and to stop right there than to keep fighting and allowing your people to die. So even though I am not a fan of this Pope for a variety of reasons, I applaud the statement that he made. Why do the neocons oppose it? Because they love war, and they are still under the delusion that Ukraine can win. We know Ukraine can't win because the creator of the coup in 2017 and the author of the war just left the government, Victoria Nuland. She's out of government for the first time in 35 years because she sees this about to come to an end. I don't know if she jumped or if she was pushed, but she's gone.
Yeah, and I think good riddance, and it may mean the end of things. When I saw her photo on the way out, I'm like, maybe Oscar Wilde was onto something with Dorian Gray. You see all the sins on your face, because I'll just put it straightforward. She was a very beautiful woman, and it's not just they're beautiful women who get older, but dadgum, there's something about power up there that just wears these folks out.
Well, she has blood on her hands, and she probably plans to come back. She claims it's a sabbatical at Columbia University for a year. I don't know. You know, she started out under the George W. Bush administration, so she's not particularly Democrat or Republican. She's just the princess or the queen of neocons. She loves war. She orchestrated the idea of using Ukraine as a battering ram with which to drive Putin from office. It has failed miserably.
Now, and let me know if you do have to run here, but I'm looking at our TV screens here in the studio, and Robert Hur, the now former special counsel, is still testifying in front of House committees. They're making a big deal. A lot of people are making a big deal out of the former special counsel. They're upset that he went to testify without having the DOJ have authority over him. Does that make sense to you? Why would they make a big stink about that?
I think the Republicans are blowing it. Bob Hur gave them Joe Biden's head on a dish, metaphorically. They should be praising him to the skies. Instead, it's the Democrats who are praising him. I know, Bob, this is one of the most intellectually honest prosecutors you'll ever want to meet. And to compare his behavior, if you remember it, to Bob Mueller's behavior when they interrogated him. There's no comparison whatsoever, and nobody can lay a glove on him. Nobody can twist what he's trying to say. One of the elements of the crime is intent. And if the person is old and withered, you can't prove intent. And if you can't prove an element of the crime, you can't charge it. Republicans are using this for political grandstanding. The Democrats are as well. But it's a Republican hearing called by the Republicans. All the Democrats voted against it. It's two committees meeting at the same time, ostensibly under the chair of one of them. They'll bloody Joe up a little bit, but I think his unbelievable performance, obviously I don't say this as a fan, there's no way I could vote for him, but his unbelievable performance at the State of the Union will outlast whatever cuts or scratches they can inflict today.
And, and I want to give, put his opinion up against yours. There's an interesting opinion by Jonathan Turley out, but it's more the bottom line I'd like to hear from you. He's wondering whether or not the Jack Smith case and some of these others the trial would go on in October, November of Donald John Trump. Do you think that's plausible?
I don't think the court gives a damn what the defendant is doing, nor should it. If that were the case, then defendants would get themselves involved in all kinds of things so that they could avoid trial. Witness Senator Bob Menendez, whose criminal trial will be at the height of the New Jersey primary.
Yeah, well, and we'll see where all this goes, but it's a big old mess up there in Washington right now. As you know, inflation's coming back real hot, so we'll have Peter St. Onge. I'll have him giving that breakdown.
Yeah, I need to hop off, Joey, but thank you very much for having me. My apologies for this short gig today.
Of course. Talk to you next week. Thank you, Judge.
All the best, my man.
Again, folks, that's Judge Andrew Napolitano. I always appreciate him on the show. And as I was just mentioning to him, the CPI report is coming in hot. Who would have thunk it? Who would have ever imagined that this would actually be going down? Consumer prices rose another 4.4% in February, 3.2% from a year ago. Oh, but it's come down. It's still going up, is the point. And if the Fed is trying to get into a position, and a lot of folks are wondering, are they going to start to cut rates again before you have true economic problems? Doesn't that just make the inflation even worse? We're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. If you want a booming, growing economy with bread-winning jobs, we're creating jobs, but it's a lot of part-time jobs. You need to have an economy based on savings and investment, not based on debt and consumer spending. And the longer we've done it for more than a generation now of debt and consumer spending, especially debt and government spending, to pump up our GDP numbers, to add more liquidity to the system so we can paper over when the bills come due. Think of it like, oh, my credit card bill's due. Let me take out another credit card. This is what is continuing to go on. And we're a very rich country. We have the privilege of being the world's reserve currency. At a certain point, though, the game is going to be done. We can make this thing last for a long time, but you're already starting to see the ugly fruit of what is happening with this system. everyday people are starting to notice, excuse me, pardon me, I'm getting screwed by this. And it's their way of funding wars. It's their way of funding all sorts of crony deals. It's their way of funding all sorts of bought and paid for intellectuals in academia that go on into the media or into the intelligence services. But I repeat myself, it's this printing press that has allowed this government to seize more and more monopoly control over this country. And you better believe, why does BlackRock have so much power? Why does Fidelity or Vanguard have so much power? It's because you have a centralized monetary system. Instead of making things and selling it to consumers, which we still do that to a degree, a lot of the smart folks are going into finance. It's the financialization of the economy. And the more and more we continue to create all this funny money, yep, a certain few players will make out like bandits. I want to use a stronger word, but bandits. But everyday folks are not going to, well, enjoy what is coming our way. And, they can spin it how they like. Biden at the State of the Union blaming it on greed. Shrinkflation on greed. Inflation in general on greed. Again, that is like blaming when a plane falls out of the sky, blaming that on gravity. Yeah, greed's a real thing. Gravity's a real thing, but it's pretty much always there. It's essentially a force of nature or a part of human nature. What is causing this inflation is the government's printing press, is the government's greed, the government's avarice, the government's unruly, unsatisfiable, insatiable appetite, because they do not want to pay the bills that are coming due. They do not want to tell you, the American people, the truth. They want to continue to tell you that you can live life without tears. We'll just print more money to make everything better. So that's my reaction to the CPI coming out. And I really do think it's a shame that when somebody says, hey, how about we have some peace here? Let's try a negotiated settlement. Well, that's just cowardice. Real, is it? Or is it just wisdom? And what you're seeing, especially with these NATO members, I think the Polish president the other day was essentially bragging about, oh yeah, we already have NATO members secretly, wink, wink, in Ukraine. And I'm not going to say who they are, but they know who they are. And thank you for your support. Suggestions, oh, well, if the Russians go for Odessa, it might be a real fight here. What are we doing? Why are we playing with this fire? For instance, the CIA estimated when all this got going, this is from the New York Post, that the CIA estimated a 50% chance Russia would nuke Ukraine if it risked losing the war. A coin flip. What would you put on the line over one coin flip? Would you put your lunch on the line over a coin flip? Like if I call heads and it's tails, I lose my lunch to the other guy. And some people might do that. Would you bet $20 over a coin flip? You probably would. I mean, it's a pretty dumb game of chance. I guess if we have casinos in Alabama, we might as well have the coin flip table. Would you bet your own life on a coin flip? Would you bet other people's lives on a coin flip? Would you bet an entire nation on a coin flip? This was back in 2022 when the CIA warned that 50% chance or higher, or even worse than a coin flip, that Russia would reach for its nuclear arsenal if it found its forces were decimated and the illegal annexed territory of Crimea was at risk. Those reports caused Biden to deliver the famous Armageddon speech on October 6, 2022, fundraiser in New York City, in which he warned, "We have not faced the prospect of Armageddon since Kennedy, and the Cuban Missile Crisis. At the same time, though, the CIA is now, through their press organ, the New York Times. You want to know how the New York Times is prestigious? It's because they work for the agency. Yeah, and the agency and the Times find all sorts of talented, clever people. They know how to write. They certainly know how to tell a story. But they, just innocently come out and say, yeah, we had 12 secret CIA bases there, essentially really getting things stirred up in Ukraine. But it's the Russians who just did this without any provocation. And, of course, you'll have folks that will tell you with a straight face that, well, the CIA doesn't do that. I mean, they did historically. They did in the past. They've done it ever since OSS became the agency. But we don't do that anymore. You don't love America. You want the terrorists to win. You want Putin to win. It's fear and nonsense. The proverbial self-licking ice cream cone. Willing to put not just their own lives, which is one thing, or the lives of so many others on the line, but that of entire nations for a coin flip. What a shame. And then when we come back home to Alabama and we look at what's going on in this dear state of ours, well, we see yet another corrupt politician is now pleaded guilty in federal fraud case. And he's resigned. He's, of course, State Representative John Rogers. Now, are we anybody surprised? Maybe you're surprised that it was that guy in particular, but politicians engaged in fraud? I mean, who would have thunk it? And so the man has finally essentially admitted. He's a state representative from Birmingham, John Rogers is. He's agreed to plead guilty to conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud and conspiracy to obstruct justice in connection with the scheme to defraud the Jefferson County Community Service Fund. It's not like he defrauded like a military contractor, which you shouldn't defraud anybody. But you catch my drift. It's not like he defrauded BlackRock or one of like the big players with more money than creases. No, he defrauded the Jefferson County Community Service Fund. It's amazing what people will do with just a little bit of power. And what sins they'll commit. And how they will use what is supposed to be for the public, what is supposed to be for society. They always talk about that. Especially think of the community. They'll use all that rhetoric of the community to screw everybody else over. So just another day in the great state of Alabama. Oh, by the way, did you see the viral thing? I guess Alabama Unfiltered was talking about this. Huntsville father's Facebook post on a biological male. One of the phrases on social media is butch-coded space queer. Actually sounds like a pretty good band name, Butch-Coded Space Queer, with their new groove. Out today here on News Talk 93.1 FM. Have a listen. Let's give it a spin. But it's a space camp worker, biological male, identifies as female, working essentially the dorms where it's kids. I'd imagine, I don't know the exact way they set up with all the different ages. It's kids 9 to 18, I believe. I remember doing space camp. It's great. It's one of my best memories. It's the only time I think I've actually been in Huntsville. But this person who's a biological male is now identifying as a female. And it all started when a father, the reason everybody's talking about it, is a father named Clay Yarborough put out a post on social media on the Book of Faces. It reads, quote, I just need everyone to see this and know what's going on at space camp at U.S. Space and Rocket Center. My daughter was planning on going to space camp next week, but we have just found out that this freak is a team lead and a hall monitor in the girls' dorms, and at times could be allowed to be alone. in the halls at night. This is a man that claims to be a woman, and they will allow it. I want it to spread, so I don't want to put too much on here. If you need more info, just read the comments below. Also, this is not hearsay. I spoke directly to the VP director of Space Camp, and she confirmed this was true. Read comments below at the vile things he has posted on social media. So, you could call this guy Clay Yarborough, all the names you want. But I think it's a father looking out for his daughter, and he's like, no, I'm not going there with this. I'm not going there with this at all. But the pronouns are they, she, proud, trans, femme, intersex, non-binary. Honestly, it's a shame. See what lost souls will do to find a little bit of identity and meaning. I think the father was right to point this out. Of course, the father's statement was caught on to by Coach Tommy Tuberville, saying it is imperative that Space Camp remains a safe place for children to learn and grow in STEM education to become the next generation of scientists, engineers, and astronauts. The U.S. Space and Rocket Center has long been a leader in educating, preparing the next generation. It is imperative that they maintain safety there. I urge the Space and Rocket Center to ensure that its reputation as a world-renowned camp remains untarnished by the progressive agenda of today. And you have many other members of Congress, Gary Palmer included. Gary Palmer said the situation currently unfolding at Space Camp USA is unacceptable. When parents send their kids to Space Camp in Alabama, they should be confident they're going to a safe educational environment. Space Camp should have the safety of our children as their first priority. Yeah. When it comes to people's kids, and I say this as a guy who's not even a parent yet, but I get it to a degree. When it comes to people's kids, I don't think these parents could give a damn what you, so enlightened, think about them. Don't want any ill to come to this person. But what the hell are they thinking? 272-9228. How about this, folks? Let's hit a break. But first, this part of the program is brought to you by Dylan Rings. And they're at Dylan Rings. Josh and Leslie Ryder are ready to help you out. And of course, Josh Ryder is always posting on social media, including the Instagram. And there is a beautiful example of some of the great deals that are currently ongoing at Dylan Rings here the month of March. Beautiful necklaces and pendants with different gems of your choosing. So you don't want to miss out on the exclusive sale to celebrate Josh Ryder's 50th birthday. You can enjoy 50% off on 50% of Dylan Rings jewelry for 50% of March. Hurry, hurry, hurry. The sale ends this Saturday. So get by Dylan Rings today. You can do tomorrow, but do not get it done. Get it done. This is an amazing thing. Shop now and make Josh's milestone of a birthday even more special with stunning pieces at half the price. And again, if you want a little preview of some of these pieces, just go to Dylan Rings on Instagram or on the Book of Faces. And of course, I always say the best way to work with them is to stop by 119 Brown Springs Road, right here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie Ryder, well, number one, tell Josh happy birthday, but also be sure to tell him that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Is spring cleaning making your floors feel, well, a little worse for the wear? Don't just clean them, upgrade them. Carroll's Carpet Flooring America can help you transform your home with beautiful new flooring and countertops. Carroll's Carpet is locally owned and operated, so you're supporting the community. At Carroll's Carpet, you'll get expert advice to help you find the perfect flooring. Hardwood, carpet, laminate, tile, or even luxury vinyl. They'll work with you to create the exact look you've been dreaming of. Carroll's Carpet, new floors this spring. Makes your whole home sing. CarrollsCarpet.com on the Northeastern Boulevard.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, And now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. That's 272-9228. And I'm looking up at Fox Business, and this just makes me angry. Oven overhaul. A mission rule to impact 100-plus New York City pizzerias, bakeries. Apparently, you've got to, comply with all these new updates for the sake of the environment, or you can't have classic New York pie anymore. Now, I just tried New Haven, like true New Haven style pizza on my trip. It was amazing. I try to get the pizza places around here, even the better ones. I'm not just talking about the chain places, to cook the hell out of the pizza, guys. I want it a little bit black on the bottom. Burn that sucker, and they don't accomplish it. And one thing that accomplished it is these wood burning or coal burning ovens that get up this ridiculous heat and that great sizzle, bubbly cheese. But more than how good the pizza is that way, hundreds of New York City pizzerias, bakeries will essentially be sacrificed for Mother Earth or some bureaucrat's wet dream. Excuse me, pardon me. It's just, that's, really? This is why we can't have nice things. Exactly why we can't have nice things. Now, I want to turn to this whole Biden moment at the State of the Union, where he talked about Laken Riley, and she was killed by an illegal, right? And then the next day he does this interview where, well... he's I regret using that word. I just regret using that word. And then, of course, the White House chimes in. And this is a different White House spokesperson. It's audio only, so let's all listen in together, folks.
Capehart, President Biden apologized for calling Laken Riley's killer an illegal. Does he feel like he needs to apologize to illegal immigrants for calling them what they are, or using the term illegal?
Well, first of all, I want to be really clear about something. The president absolutely did not apologize. There was no apology anywhere in that conversation. He did not apologize. He used a different word. I think what we should be really clear about is the facts. So, in addition to the fact that the president did not apologize, I want to make another thing clear. The president spoke directly to this in the State of the Union address not 4 nights ago when he spoke passionately about knowing what it means to lose a child and extended his deep grief and condolences to Laken Riley's family in front of the entire country in the House chamber. And beyond that, I think it's unconscionable that there are some people who are playing politics with this young woman's tragic murder.
It's unconscionable that some people are playing politics. Well, it's unconscionable that we're even playing politics. How about that? I agree. But since this is the world we live in, since this is the world we have inherited and I guess made for ourselves in a way, yeah, we're going to play politics over policies that get people killed and raped. If you're going to play politics about something, you might as well play it there. And don't you love how we're such a democracy, we're such a wonderful democracy, but politics is so damn dirty. Well, how do you have a democracy without frickin' politics, you dopes? And it's only dirty to play politics when the other guy does it. How about we just stop playing politics? No, nobody's going to buy that. Sorry for even trying to suggest that. But there are some responses to this. Because, playing politics, right? Everybody's doing it. Do I like it? No, I don't really like it at all. But it is, again, the fallen world that we live in. Here is, I believe this was yesterday afternoon as Greg was hopping on air, Senator Katie Britt with Larry Kudlow, continuing to fight the strong fight despite being lambasted in the media and on social media networks.
This shows the stark contrast that we have in November, right? You have President Trump, who embraced Laken Riley's family, embraced her grieving family on the exact same day that Biden apologized to her killer. I mean, this is completely and totally unacceptable, but I think that puts into focus what the American people are choosing between in November, and the choice is clear. The choice is President Trump. And guess what? He also left a roadmap for Biden about how to secure our border, how to put the American people first. He can immediately put back in the Remain in Mexico policy, which he should do. He should also immediately start to issue those final orders of removal and actually execute them, getting people who are here illegally out of our country, Larry. There is a ton of stuff he could do, but unfortunately, he continues to put Americans last, and he puts this facilitation of mass migration first. And the Laken Riley just tragedy puts it into focus. And the fact that when he gets her name wrong, he doesn't take the time to actually correct that and properly grieve with her family. President Trump did, but what he does is he apologizes to her killer, and it's a total disgrace.
Yep, it is. No, it really is a disgrace. It really is. I yesterday compared the entire nation to King Lear going mad. It's also, I think, leading us to become monsters. The world's a practical place. You've got to fight, 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 fight. Well, be careful. Don't let that practicality and necessity turn you into a freaking monster. And there are moments where you're like, I'm sure you've, especially if you really have been in love. And I don't mean like puppy love. I don't mean the honeymoon. I mean, you've been in a long, so long of a relationship with somebody. And sometimes you have bad days, months, years when you've been together with somebody for that long. And I'd imagine at times during those bad days, months, years, you get into the middle of a fight where you're like, what are we even fighting about here? I don't even know. Are we just fighting to fight? Is this just foreplay now? What the heck are we even doing here? Because it's not making me in the mood. There's an amazing exchange that I'm thinking of that really encapsulates this. It's Representative Nancy Mace on with George Stephanopoulos over the weekend. And there's a lot of finger pointing, a lot of blame to go around. Hey, we're all hypocrites, ain't we? It's almost like at the end of the day, we're all just naked fools standing in the middle of a thunderstorm that no matter all the things we try to do, all the vain efforts we put forward, that we need something more than ourselves to help us. Whether we're at the beginning, the end, or stuck right in the middle with everybody else. So when I look at this exchange between Nancy Mace and George Stephanopoulos, my mind doesn't go like, yeah, Nancy gave it to Georgie, little Georgie Stephanopoulos, or yeah, George, you're pointing out the lady's hypocrisy that she's so upset about that rape, but Trump's held liable for it. I listen to this and I just go, yep, we're going insane. Maybe it's just me going insane because I'm having to watch the insanity every day. But here's Nancy Mace and George Stephanopoulos. Just listen and think, man, ain't that America for you and me?
And you've endorsed Donald Trump for president. Judges and 2 separate juries have found him liable for rape and for defaming the victim of that rape. How do you square your endorsement of Donald Trump with the testimony we just saw?
Well, I will tell you, I was raped at the age of 16. And any rape victim will tell you, I've lived for 30 years with an incredible amount of shame over being raped. I didn't come forward because of that judgment and shame that I felt. And it's a shame that you will never feel, George. And I'm not going to sit here on your show and be asked a question meant to shame me about another potential rape victim. I'm not gonna do that.
It's actually not about shaming you. It's a question about Donald Trump.
No, you are shaming me.
You've endorsed Donald Trump for president.
Right.
Donald Trump has been found liable for rape by a jury. Donald Trump has been found liable for defaming the victim of that rape by a jury. It's been affirmed by a judge.
It was not a criminal court case, number one. Number two, I live with shame. And you're asking me a question about my political choices, trying to shame me as a rape victim, and I find it disgusting. And quite frankly, E. Jean Carroll's comments when she did get the judgment, joking about what she was going to buy, it makes it harder for women to come forward when they make a mockery out of rape, when they joke about it.
Doesn't it make it harder for women to come forward when they are
It makes it harder when other women joke about it, and she's joked about it. I find it offensive. And I also find it offensive that you're trying to shame me with this question.
I'm not trying to shame you at all. In fact,
I have dealt with this for 30 years. You know how hard it was to tell my story 5 years ago when they were doing a fetal heartbeat bill and there were no exceptions for rape, incest, rape or incest in there? I had to tell my story because no other woman was coming forward. No rape victims were represented. And you're trying to shame me this morning.
I'm just asking.
And I find it offensive, and this is why women won't come forward.
Women won't come forward because they're defamed by those who perpetrate rape. Donald Trump
they are judged and they're shamed, and you're trying to shame me this morning.
I'm not shaming you at all.
I told my story. It took me 25 years to tell my story. I was judged for it. I still get judged for it today.
I'm asking you a very simple question.
And I answered it. You're shaming me for my...
So what's that all about? Oh, yeah, when you fight over power, everything becomes fair game to be used against the other person. Ooh, I'm in a mood this morning. I think it's the pollen. I'm going to mark it up to that. It's the pollen. But Gumtown John, my great friend, man, we go way back. Gumtown John, good to see you're on your feet, sir. But he says George seems to forget that he was in charge of the smearing campaign against Bill's accusers. Now, I don't think George was there when Monica Lewinsky, finally all that broke. I think he was then at ABC News. He got out of there. In fact, I've for some reason read George Stephanopoulos' book years and years ago. And, yeah, he did help during the campaign, that first Clinton campaign, of, smearing a lot of folks. Though the way he tells it is Clinton would be the first one, Bill Clinton would be the first one to deny it. Like, because when you're working for these people, for the principal, for the actual candidate, you have to have very tough conversations with that person. If you want me to do my job, I need to be able to ask you what the hell is actually true, sir, madam. And so he asked Bill, did you sleep with this woman like they're saying at this hotel? Oh, no, George, I was just by the pool, and she came up and flashed me. I mean, did you know they grow the biggest melons in the world in Arkansas? And Stephanopoulos did so much of that. Was backing Clinton. He's on the team. He's going to back his boss. He did so much of that when the Lewinsky stuff finally dropped, Stephanopoulos is like, damn, he did it. There is clearly a pattern there. So this is a long legacy. This didn't just happen to start today or yesteryear or in 2016 or in 2000 or in 2008. I don't even know if it started just with the Lewinsky trial. But we seem to be, as we got rich, because weren't the 90s a golden age in a way, the victorious America? Like, movies were popping. Nobody could even think about touching us militarily. We're doing pretty amazingly economically. The future looked bright. So when the internet comes up and we're all going to be netizens, where if you open up communication networks, everybody will be able to learn and engage and build a better world. Yeah, but seems that the richer we got and the more grandiose our dreams became, that we started to give into, well, silly's one word, but all the usual vices that have plagued man since time immemorial. So, that's where we are. It's sad. It's just a crying damn shame that this is what we, the people, and our government officials, in so many ways have become. 272-9228. This is part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team have a truly unique understanding of the River Region real estate markets because Bo Goodson has been truly serving folks, helping buyers and sellers here in Montgomery and the surrounding areas for over 4 decades. I think it's actually getting pretty close to 5 decades. Need to ask Bo that, but I think that's right. And at the Goodson Group, not only can they help you with buying or selling, they have management services available should you want to rent out your home. And then the Goodson Group is also the home, this is the crown jewel there, of the Bo Goodson Real Estate School. It's one of the most highly acclaimed real estate programs here in the state of Alabama because, well, it's a very successful course. And what do I mean by that? I mean the folks who have taken the course, the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, meets every Thursday night for a very reasonable fee. They've gone on to great success. People have taken their test and become fully licensed realtors. Folks have just become more knowledgeable private players. And I think that's enough to show, man, look at the success the Bo Goodson Real Estate School has engendered. But it's also the fact that you're getting to learn from that 40 plus years of experience from Bo directly. He's been through it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you can learn direct from him and hit the ground running to find success in this world of real estate. So check him out today. You can always call the Goodson Group at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group, great sponsor here of News and Views in the afternoon.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
The Veterans Access to Care bill now in the Alabama State Legislature will relieve the overwhelmed federal VA healthcare system and provide the specially tailored care that veterans need.
Paid for by the Alabama Council of Chapters Military Officers Association of America, Mobile.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. When you call the professionals at Clark with plumbing needs, you can count on quality service, flexible appointments, and affordable pricing. For more information, visit ClarkComfort.com. Better call Clark, 277-2125. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Let that nice warming trend begin. In fact, today will be pretty comfortable with a high temperature in the lower 70s. That's close to normal, mostly sunny skies. Then partly cloudy, not as cold tonight. Overnight low temperature down to about 42. More sunshine tomorrow with a high in the mid-70s. We'll be near 80 Thursday. Risk of showers and thunderstorms returns to the forecast by late Thursday night, and rain and thunderstorms widespread on Friday, locally heavy rain. And the risk of rain continues over the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
We're redesigning financial freedom at CB&S Bank. Make purchases at participating stores and restaurants using your CB&S Bank debit card through your mobile devices with Mobile Wallet. Charges and fees may apply for your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for more information. Member FDIC.
Lewis at the Capital Oyster Bar, and I just want to tell you, if you're in business or got an event coming up and want to do some advertising, wisely spent dollars are spent down here at Blue Water Broadcasting. All the guys are nice, easy to work with, and I see results, I guarantee you.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Hey, this is Randy and Tammy Burkhalter at Prattville Farm Center.
Hey, Randy, tell me about those hot chicks I've been hearing about.
Now, Tammy, I don't know any since we got married.
No, Randy, the baby chick.
Oh, yeah, we're getting Rhode Island Reds, Americanas, Buff Orpingtons, and about 6 other different varieties.
Plus ducks, turkeys, geese, and guineas.
Hey, and raising chickens is a great family project.
And you get to look forward to fresh eggs.
Visit Prattville Farm Center at 1154 South Memorial Drive and pick up your hot chicks today.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. And, well, because I lack the ability to be presidential, and I really think I do, at least today, because of the pollen, let's go to somebody who I think, it wasn't Joe Biden, who I disagree with Judge Napolitano. It wasn't Biden had an amazing night. The guy looked high. It wasn't, I think, Katie Britt, who had an amazing night. I liked what she said, especially in the moment, but I thought the best so-called State of the Union address was by RFK Jr. It's not because I agree with the guy on every little policy issue. I think he gets the story of where we're at in America correct right now. So let's listen in to a little bit of this. He did have the advantage of this being pre-produced. It wasn't live, so that's always a factor. Give the others who spoke live their due for that. But here is RFK Jr., what they released on the night of the State of the Union. Let's listen in.
I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and I'm running as an independent candidate for President of the United States. I grew up in an America that seemed to have achieved its promise as an exemplary nation. Modern democracy had spread from one nation, ours, in 1776, to 6 by 1865, and to 190 by the 1960s. We had become the city on the hill. We were a moral authority around the globe. Our government, institutions, our Congress, the court, President Kennedy left us a legacy of peace and the hope of ending the arms race and winding down the Cold War. Those were the traditions of freedom, prosperity, and peace that my father, my uncle, and Martin Luther King Jr. were striving to protect and advance. In the half century since their deaths, we've lost touch with that vision for our country. And I want to tell you right now that we can still restore that America, the America that almost was, and yet may be. But we have to start by being honest with ourselves. Neither my uncle nor my father would recognize the version of America that we have today. We become a nation of chronic illness, of violence, of loneliness, depression, and division, and poverty. Our great cities are becoming tent encampments, modern-day Hoovervilles filled with undocumented immigrants and dispossessed Americans and people living in their cars, plagued by mental illness and addiction and despair. Our border has come under the control of criminal drug cartels that traffic in desolation and fentanyl, and in busloads of desperate human beings. Our children are drowning in a crisis of alienation, of dispossession, and complete disconnection from their communities. We've lost far more of our young people to drugs in the last decade than in the 20-year Vietnam War. We've printed 9 centuries worth of money in a little over a decade and spent $8 trillion on regime change wars. Those wars have made America less safe, our country less strong, and the world far less stable, while sending prices through the roof as our infrastructure falls apart. Tens of millions of young Americans no longer even dream of owning their own home. What happened to America, the land of opportunity, where you could be sure that if you worked hard and played by the rules, that you would have a decent life? All the new wealth of the last generation has gone to the billionaires and to transnational corporations, while our tattered middle class, our infrastructure, our industry have been hollowed out from the inside. Instead of promise, we've left our kids sick and drowning in debt. The public debt has gone from about $5 trillion under President George W. Bush to $34 trillion today, and U.S. household debt is at a record high of $17.3 trillion. If you include discouraged workers, our true unemployment rate is 23%. Young parents face housing, grocery, and childcare costs that are unaffordable. Too many Americans are living bleak and hopeless lives, dreading the one medical emergency or the car repair that will tip them over the edge into homelessness. We rank 40th globally in our people's health and wellness. Out of the richest countries in the world, the United States is 35th in child poverty rates, just above Mexico. We rank 36th in literacy and 45th in press freedom. We have one of the highest cancer rates in the world, and our life expectancy now ranks 59th according to the World Bank. That's right behind Algeria, which spends less than 1/30th per capita of what we spend. But even these grim figures hide the full picture of our dire health crisis. We now have the worst health outcomes in the rich world, the highest maternal mortality rates, the highest number of gun deaths per capita, and the highest number of teen pregnancies. We lead the world in obesity and chronic disease. According to CDC, 60% of Americans have at least one chronic condition. When my uncle was president, only 6% of Americans had chronic disease. And all of these plights fall heaviest on our young people. 4 in 10 of them suffer depression, and half of them have considered suicide. 1 in 10 has anxiety. 1 in 10 has ADHD. 1 in 5 is obese. It's time for us to say enough is enough. We were once a free and thriving nation, the healthiest and strongest in the world. What we once were, we can be again. How do I know that? It's because everywhere I go in this country, I see a profound determination among Americans to heal. We might have become the sickest country on earth, but we also have the most ingenious healers, both inside and outside conventional medicine. We may have sky-high levels of depression and addiction, but we also have innovators who have opened up new frontiers in recovery. We have some of the world's most depleted agricultural soils, but also some of the world's most innovative and energetic regenerative farmers. We have serious economic problems, but we also have the brightest and most ambitious entrepreneurs. We face hunger and homelessness, and yet we meet it with the highest philanthropic rates in the world and bottomless kindness and compassion. We may be on the mat today, but we can be on our feet and happy and healthy and strong again with good leadership tomorrow. Our people and our system were built for resilience. And here's the most important thing I want to tell you about the state of our union. Our nation seems more divided than ever, but Americans everywhere want to heal that divide. Our nation has become artificially divided by political forces that can survive only when we, the people, are at war with each other. People are tired of being manipulated by fear. We learned that lesson during COVID. We recognize that the same techniques of manipulating fear are being used by elites today to corral us into voting for one political candidate or the other. Americans are tired of these dire warnings that to preserve democracy itself, you better vote for our guy. I can tell you that in every state of this union, people are rejecting fear-mongering. 80% of Americans say they don't want to be forced to choose in this election between the lesser of two evils. They're tired of voting against something or someone. I see it in the crowds of mixed Republicans and Democrats and independents who attend my rallies that a growing number of Americans are rejecting divisiveness. They're ready to unite, to rebuild this country, and to fulfill the promise of the America of my youth. They're ready to vote for something and for someone they like, for someone who represents hope and healing, or someone with an inspiring vision for America's future, for a future that they can believe in. So that's the State of the Union that I want to bring you today. It's a nation that hungers to heal. It's a nation ready to face reality, to rebuild, to end the forever foreign wars, to clean out the corrupt Washington establishment, and to turn again toward peace, freedom, good health, and prosperity. When we unite in that vision, we're going to be unstoppable. Thank you, and God bless you.
Again, that was RFK Jr., what he released on the night of the State of the Union. Will the man be the next president? I have no clue. I probably would bet not. But I thought that was a damn good speech and message. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Republican Congressman Jim Jordan says at the start of a hearing with Special Counsel Robert Hur, who investigated Joe Biden, that the Democratic president failed to properly secure classified information. Biden repeatedly told the special counsel he never meant to retain classified information after he left the vice presidency, but was at times fuzzy about dates and the paper trail for sensitive documents. An aid ship loaded with some 200 tons of food has set sail from Cyprus to Gaza. The shipment is a test for the opening of a sea corridor to supply aid to the territory where starvation is spreading. On Wall Street, the Dow is ahead 150 points, and the Nasdaq is adding 169. This is SRN News.
The new FedNow system is paving the way for the digital dollar. It grants the government unprecedented access to your financial transactions. This isn't just an invasion of privacy. It's a direct assault on your liberty and hard-earned money. It's another reason why I recommend physical gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst and a podcaster with nearly 25 million downloads to people just like you who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Big Brother while also preserving your retirement savings through almost anything, including economic crashes, political instability, and even hyperinflation. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text FAITH to 989898. And remember, there's no strings attached. Text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you're blessed with continued prosperity.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. Let that nice warming trend begin. In fact, today will be pretty comfortable with a high temperature in the lower 70s. That's close to normal, mostly sunny skies. Then partly cloudy, not as cold tonight. Overnight low temperature down to about 42. More sunshine tomorrow with a high in the mid-70s. We'll be near 80 Thursday. Risk of showers and thunderstorms returns to the forecast by late Thursday night, and rain and thunderstorms widespread on Friday, locally heavy rain. And the risk of rain continues over the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. A busy Montgomery cardiology office has abruptly closed. Southeastern Cardiology made the announcement Friday that it was closing its doors. Southeastern Cardiology was a private practice located on the 4th floor of Baptist Medical Center. No information was given on why the clinic was closed. Many Alabamians were not pleased about losing an hour of sleep over the weekend. Alabama has already passed legislation that would make daylight saving time permanent. However, before those laws can go into effect, federal law needs to change, and that isn't likely to happen anytime soon. The SLE Rodeo returns to Montgomery on Friday. The week-long event will be held at the Garrett Coliseum. The rodeo is hosted by the Southeastern Livestock Exposition, which is a nonprofit organization. Proceeds from the rodeo go to support Alabama's youth through scholarships. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. And here in the studio, right across the desk from me, we have Beth with Sage Health. Beth, how are you today? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. So let's tell folks about Sage Health. And just to give out the website from the beginning, Sage, like S-A-G-E, sage.health. And you can find, that's the general website and get to your location here in Montgomery. But for folks who don't know about Sage Health, what's the 101?
Well, Sage Health is a value-based healthcare clinic targeted just for seniors on Medicare Advantage. And a lot of people don't know what value-based healthcare is. Typically, when you have a primary care physician, is traditional care. And you have a yearly physical and you don't go see your doctor except for whenever you get sick.
Sure.
Well, value-based, we want to keep you healthy. We want to see you once a quarter, and we our mission is to deliver enriching healthcare to our seniors to achieve wellness and strengthen our communities. We believe that seniors are the mainstay of our communities, so we want to keep them all healthy.
So let's tell folks out there listening, who exactly is eligible for y'all's services?
Okay. Seniors that are enrolled in a Medicare Advantage plan.
Okay.
Or anyone who's on disability for at least 2 years and has Medicare and is on a Medicare Advantage plan. The only insurance carriers that we accept at this time is Humana, Viva, Cigna, Aetna, and Devoted.
Okay. And so if folks are out there, and we'll get into the details of this different approach to healthcare. I like the idea that it's not we're reactive, that we're looking for an emergency all of a sudden.
Right.
Especially men, even old men, pardon me, they kind of are hesitant to want to go to the doctor. Even, I'm a man. I'll just, grin and bear it.
Yeah.
But when you're doing that regular quarterly schedule, some things that they might not ever call about, you might pick up on.
Right, right. And that's our goal. We don't want to wait until a potential problem becomes a problem. We want to be able to detect it and diagnose it and nip it in the bud before it becomes serious.
So what happens if y'all do find an issue and you realize, we need this specialist or you need to go see this person? Is there a way y'all help folks out in that regard?
Yes, we have a concierge service. So anyone interested in Sage, which I encourage anybody to come by, we're at 2948 Carter Hill Road, come by and just take a tour. I mean, there is no doubt in my mind you won't be impressed. But if they enroll and become a patient of our primary care physician, we also have a cardiologist on staff. And we, if they don't want to see our cardiologist, they want to see their own, or if they need to go to another specialist, we make those appointments for them.
Okay,
Now,
wow.
Let me tell you, the cool thing about Sage is if they have a problem with transportation, we will pick them up from their home and bring them to the clinic and then take them back home.
Right.
And it's not, it's Uber. It's a really, either Uber or Lyft. I'm not sure if we still have Lyft in Montgomery, but Uber is the main one we use.
Okay.
And it's very, very nice.
Well, and it can be it's one thing to drive yourself, but there are certain procedures where you shouldn't be driving yourself back.
Exactly. So,
Okay.
And we also schedule the appointments for the specialists too.
Okay. Wow.
And take them to those, as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So where, how long have you been working with Sage Health?
I am fairly new. I have
Okay.
been, I started at the end of January, but my title is Community Outreach Specialist. So my job is to reach out to the community. It's kind of self-explanatory, but, and just get the word out there, because I promise you, it is so different than any healthcare facility. Like when I go to the doctor, I go to my primary care, there's a big glass. They don't know my name. They just have me fill out the same questionnaire, and then they want my copay, and then I wait and I wait and I wait. At Sage, there's no glass. Everything is wide open. We have a TV that normally just plays music, but sometimes there's TV shows on there. We have a cafe, so you can have a cup of coffee, a water, a snack, some yogurt while you're waiting for your appointment. And then we also have a full service lab. And then the doctor, your first appointment takes 2 visits, because they're going to do a lot of screenings. They're going to form a secure baseline of where you're at in your health.
Okay.
And then we're going to see you once every 3 months.
And again, this is for folks 65 and up on Medicare Advantage, or those on disability with Medicare Advantage.
Exactly.
Okay, fantastic. I love this idea. Obviously, I'm only in my 30s, but I've learned about these problems in the last few years for family reasons, and so it can be really tough if somebody's a senior now. They want to be independent, but y'all are just making it a lot easier for them to remain independent, but also make sure their health's in the right spot.
Yes. And also, I want to share with you, most times when you call the doctor, it takes a couple of days, maybe a week or so. Once you're an established patient and you need to come see the doctor, you're guaranteed an appointment within 24 to 48 hours.
Oh, wow.
You also have the doctor's cell phone number in your phone. That way you can reach him anytime. We also have telehealth, and if you can't, for whatever reason, get to the clinic, we do make house calls. We will go visit you at your house.
Well, this sounds like something people need to take advantage of. Again, folks, you can go to sage.health. They're at 2948 Carter Hill Road here in Montgomery, and that number is 694-2262. That's 694-2262. Mm-hmm. And I hope folks reach out, because it sounds like an amazing service. And I wonder why, I know this is more general, it's not about Sage Health. I've always thought about healthcare. Why do we not take this proactive approach more often? Everything does seem so reactive. I don't know.
I know. I agree. And I wanted to share with you that our vision is a society where no senior feels isolated, uncared for, or left behind. And there are so many did I tell you we do activities too? We have fitness classes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have Jerry and it's targeted. They're low impact. We have, like, we're having an Easter party. We have movie day. We have sip and paint, where you can come in and just, engage with other seniors and make new friendships. I mean, we do bingo. I mean, everybody loves bingo.
Sure.
But we had a penny auction, and it's just a lot of fun, and just you build a camaraderie, and we're taking care of your health at the same time.
I think that's that's the way to go. It's not
Yeah.
just about the medications and the procedure; it's about the people. And I appreciate your time, Beth. I really do.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and this is your first time on radio, you said?
Yes.
You did great.
Well, thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
And I just encourage everybody. I mean, stop by and just check it out. I'd love to take you on a tour and introduce you to our staff and our doctor. He's got 25 years experience, and it's a great facility.
Well, I appreciate you, Beth.
All right. Thank you so much.
More news and views in the afternoon after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs, and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
I work with unbelievable people. I feel like CBS News, the people I work with, they're like the platinum people of the industry.
Jill Schlesinger is the Emmy and Gracie award-winning business analyst for CBS News. We talk about careers in journalism and significant mid-career shifts. Listen to What's Working Saturday noon or find us online at whatsworkingcam.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon, or as we're calling it online, Joey Clark Live. You can always watch it, Joey Clark Live, on YouTube, just search for Joey Clark Live on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe to the live stream. Again, you know when the time of the show, noon to 3 Central Time here, Monday through Friday. You can also watch on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter. And appreciate all the folks tuning in and all the love out there. Sandra Burdell is saying, when will we stand up and demand the government that works for us to demand term limits for Congress and all politicians? It's time to take our country back. She goes on and says, drain the swamp. And then she says, we always seem to have money for war, but we cannot feed our own homeless people. They are giving everything free to the illegal immigrants. We have to put a stop to the insanity. Yeah. That's the problem with being insane. Sometimes it's not easy to stop it. In fact, trying to stop is making you more insane. We're in a weird spot. Let's go to Red Top. Hey, Red Top, how you doing?
Hey, I want to tell all the folks on the air I was going to call. I was hoping there was an old folks home that I could call and talk to this lady about and see if they would kick my ass out in about 30 minutes. I have a feeling they would.
They would, and you would deserve it.
I agree. We'd all be smoking pot, and they wouldn't need that treatment no damn more. They'd be feeling good all the time. Now, I don't know if you heard this, Joey, but over in the Middle East, they sent the CIA to negotiate a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, and Israel's going, screw this crap, man.
Wait, the real government? CIA and Mossad are going to finally meet up, be like, okay, guys, you got to stop this. This is.
Oh yeah, right.
I don't think it's stopping. I think this might also be flirting with a wider regional war, and God forbid that.
Joey, I don't think so. I think as they're doing right now, if Israel's fighting during Ramadan, they ain't messing around, and they're going to get the rest of those guys.
And I'm not just talking about Gaza. I mean, is Turkey going to sit idly by, or is Hezbollah going to sit idly by?
Well, they all have so far. Because in the past, Israel has kicked their butt 2 times already.
Oh, sure.
I wouldn't be real anxious to get into war with the Jews because they ain't messing around, and their missiles don't miss. And they got nukes, too. So I wouldn't want the CIA negotiating anything. And that's the State Department's job, from what I thought. Or am I mistaken that diplomacy is for the State Department?
No,
I must have been mistaken, wasn't I?
Yeah, it's the State Department, but really it's the interagency process.
Interagency. Oh, that sounds nasty.
Yeah, it does.
That's a dirty word. I'm too young for that one, Joey. I'm 70
Yeah, it
years
sounds
old.
like what you were getting up to in the old folks' home. Stop it with your interagency process, Red Top. Get out of here.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Honestly, folks, it's a wild world. Okay, buddy, have a good day. Roll Tide, Coach Trump.
Thanks, Red Top. 272-9228. That's 272-9228. So let's shift gears here for a second. A great write-up today by Caleb Taylor of 1819 News about the future of medical cannabis and the medical cannabis law here in the great state of Alabama. Caleb Taylor writes, implementing Alabama's medical cannabis law from 2021 could be allowed to continue with a favorable ruling by a Montgomery County Circuit judge in April. The Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission awarded 20 licenses to various companies in every category besides integrated facilities in their December 1st, 2023 meeting. 5 companies were awarded integrated facilities licenses on December the 12th. True Leave Alabama, Sustainable Alabama, Wagon Trail, MedServ, Flowerwood, Medical Cannabis, and Specialty Medical Products of Alabama. The December meetings were the 3rd time the commission awarded licenses in 2023. Wow. The previous 2 rounds were revoked after unsuccessful applicants filed lawsuits against the commission over the Alabama Open Meetings Act compliance and concerns about how companies were scored and ranked in the application process. The commission, the Medical Cannabis Commission, settled that litigation in November. However, cannabis companies that weren't awarded licenses in the 3rd round sued the commission again in December. Montgomery County Circuit Judge James Anderson, how's it going, Judge Anderson, currently has a temporary restraining order on the commission. On Monday, the Alabama Court of Civil Appeals stayed all proceedings on litigation surrounding the medical cannabis law until Anderson decides on a pending motion to dismiss in Montgomery County Circuit Court. According to Anderson, the judge in this case, a hearing on the motion to dismiss is tentatively scheduled for around April the 15th. So we'll see where all that goes. But what a circus. Bunch of circus animals we are. Can't do anything like that. And again, for the break, I just want to point folks in direction to a fascinating YouTube video I found last night. And I might even try to pull some clips of it, but it's very long. But it's kind of a walk and talk interview of, one gentleman whose grandfather, his grandpapa, was a Nazi scientist. And he was brought to Huntsville, back when Huntsville was only about 35,000 people. And this guy, the grandson of this German scientist, brought over to work with Werner von Braun, if I could say it, Werner von Braun. He then went on to be, served in the Army himself, has served several tours. But he gives a tour of the Space and Rocket Center. He gives a tour of Huntsville in general. And it is just eye-opening, the amount of knowledge this guy is laying down. I really found this is the way to go. So what it's called, if you want to search for it on YouTube, is Alabama's Biggest Secret, Operation Paperclip. Now, there have been books written about Operation Paperclip. If you're in the Huntsville area, they talk about this in the video. It is a hot topic up there. And beyond just the history of, the Nazis lose the war, we get a bunch of their scientists, the Soviets get a bunch of their scientists. But beyond that history, it really lays out how much Redstone Arsenal is just one aspect of, this is one of the major nerve centers of the United States federal government. And I'm not just talking about what you think of that's in the Constitution. I mean, a major nervous center of the intelligence agencies, of the military contractors, of space-based efforts. Continuing. So it's Alabama's Biggest Secret, Operation Paperclip by Peter Santinello. And I think Peter Santinello has been doing a tour of Alabama. He's kind of one of these guys, walks around with a camera, guerrilla style, interviews folks all over the country, showcases different parts of the world. He's been in Alabama the last few weeks and looked at some of the richest parts of Alabama, joined some folks in the Black Belt and got a tour there. And now he's been going through Huntsville. And this Huntsville one, I have to say, this guy he interviews is one of the most interesting men in Alabama, probably, given who his grandfather is. It's really an incredible thing to watch. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. It's only about an hour long. But it is, it's fascinating to see the locals and how they're talking about our great state and how they're talking about the history there of, we got some of those German immigrants. Really fascinating stuff. And 272-9228. This is part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. And they're at Cole Plumbing. They're ready to help you when it comes to especially, those big jobs that you're worried about, like the burst pipe inside or outside your home. Well, they have proprietary pipelining technology there at Cole Plumbing that allows them with minimal discomfort to you and your home to get in there and solve the problem with precision and expertise without having to tear up a bunch of drywall inside the house or dig up a huge hole or trench in the yard. No, again, they can do it with precision and expertise. Of course, they can help you with everyday plumbing problems like a clogged drain, low water pressure, maybe even tree root invasion, gas line leaks even, maybe, your sump pump in the basement ain't working. And they can also help you upgrade. Maybe you want to go to a tankless water heater system or a taller toilet or just scrap the toilet altogether. I'm going with a bidet. Cole Plumbing can help you with all of those services. So check them out today. You can always call them at 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hello, this is Colonel Patrick Downing, U.S. Army retired, on behalf of the nearly 400,000 veterans in Alabama, urging the passage of the Veterans Access to Care Bill to give veterans and their families better access to health care specifically tailored to their needs. Our veterans have done so much for us. Now it's time to do what we can for them by providing a state-run healthcare system just for veterans and their families.
Paid for by the Alabama Council of Chapters Military Officers Association of America, Mobile.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Let that nice warming trend begin. In fact, today will be pretty comfortable with a high temperature in the lower 70s. That's close to normal, mostly sunny skies. Then partly cloudy, not as cold tonight. Overnight low temperature down to about 42. More sunshine tomorrow with a high in the mid-70s. We'll be near 80 Thursday. Risk of showers and thunderstorms returns to the forecast by late Thursday night, and rain and thunderstorms widespread on Friday. Locally heavy rain. And the risk of rain continues over the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. Make this spring your most productive yet with our package deal on Kubota's L2501 DT tractor with front loader, 5-foot cutter and box blade, and 20-foot trailer at special spring savings. Kubota and Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. This is part of the program, well, brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And as we were talking about earlier, guys hate going to the doctor. I'm that way. But Montgomery Men's Health was created to take care of guys just like us. And in particular, they can help men with things like erectile dysfunction or other problems, let's say you're having in the bedroom. Or it could be you have an underlying issue. There are a lot of guys walking around who don't know they have low testosterone, and they feel like crap, honestly. They lack energy, always tired, feel like they're walking through life in a fog. It's not just like, they're physically tired, like they just can't think straight. They're seeing unwanted weight gain, even a decrease in sex drive that could be causing those problems in the bedroom. The underlying cause could very well be low testosterone. Knowing whether or not you have low T is crucial in combating some of these issues. And, the urologists even saying you've got to do this as part of your annual men's health routine. And it's not just for guys getting older into their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Even guys at the age of 18 should start getting a testosterone and PSA check. So the providers of Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup, plus a consultation for only $99. And they have low T treatments there that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, usually even notice an increased libido. And hey, you can actually book the same day that you call. Guys, it's time to feel amazing and hit your goals this year. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. Be sure to tell them that, Joey, that fell on the radio, sent you. Now, one story that I just wonder how many young student athletes, in particular in this case, how many young black student athletes are going to listen to the NAACP. The NAACP has asked black student athletes to reconsider their decisions to attend public colleges and universities in the state of Florida, in response to the University of Florida and other state schools recently eliminating their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. And before I keep going with this, I think we're going to have he's the minority leader in the House, Anthony Daniels, on the show on Thursday at 1. Of course, he is running for the Democrat nomination. He got into the runoff against Shamari Figures And he came out because Alabama has been all about getting rid of DEI structures as well, being a conservative red state. And he said this would never happen if Coach Saban was still around. Well, maybe, maybe not. But it's interesting the reaction to the reaction of DEI. And honestly, I think folks are talking past one another. And actually, the language of these programs are designed to cause those sorts of issues, cause that lost in translation. But again, the NAACP has asked black student athletes to reconsider attending colleges and universities in the state of Florida in response to the other state schools recently eliminating their DEI programs. In a letter sent to the NCAA, too many acronyms, President Charlie Baker, and addressed to current and prospective student athletes Monday, NAACP President and CEO Derek Johnson wrote, quote, "This is not about politics. It's about the protection of our community, the progression of our culture, and most of all, it's about your education and your future." Last year, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill that prohibits the use of state funds for any DEI programs. As a result, the University of Florida announced on March the 1st it had closed the office of the Chief Diversity Officer, which, by the way, they're making bank, like big six figures. Especially the Chiefs. They're making $300, $400, $500 a year. It also, in Florida, eliminated 13 full-time DEI positions and 15 administrative appointments and halted DEI-focused contracts with outside vendors. Other in-state schools, such as North Florida and Florida International, have also recently shuttered their DEI programs. I could add to this that it's not just Alabama's legislature, it's not just Florida. You're also seeing some big companies run away. We don't need this DEI stuff. Now, a lot of the more cynical on the right are saying, well, they'll keep doing the same thing, they'll just change the language. But if you had the opportunity, folks, to take a few $1 billion in free money, well, there are always strings attached, even if you're just in somebody's pocket. You know, there could be a time where I need to ask you a favor. Yeah, a little later in life, you better respond, so to speak. But if you could take free dollars from, say, President Biden, but the catch is that your company would have to embrace the administration's DEI policies, what would you do? If you're a chip-making giant like Intel, Samsung, or Taiwan Semi, then the answer is increasingly obvious. Free money? No thanks. The free money in question is the $50 billion or so in official bribes for companies to build state-of-the-art chip fabrication plants in this country, like companies used to do when it was still a decent place to do business. So what started last April with Taiwan Semi expressing doubts about Washington's demands for extensive access to the Taiwanese company's books and operations has snowballed. In a recent piece with a spot-on headline, DEI killed the CHIPS Act, Matt Cole and Chris Nicholson write that chip makers aren't so thrilled with the strings that come with chips. The Biden administration recently promised it will finally loosen the purse strings on $39 billion of CHIPS Act grants to encourage semiconductor fabrication in the U.S. But less than a week later, Intel announced that it's putting the brakes on its Columbus factory. The Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company has pushed back production at its second Arizona foundry. The remaining major chip maker, Samsung, just delayed its first Texas fab. So what explains chip makers' apparent ingratitude? In large part, frustration with DEI requirements embedded in the CHIPS Act. Exactly right. And there are a lot of folks starting to see through this. It's like we need equality before the law. We need equality before the law. We don't need extra government programs and messaging that, in the name of creating diversity, equity, and inclusion, are actually creating all sorts of new distinctions and ranks and hierarchies. So we're going to have equity, but actually we'll need certain people who are making a lot of money to decide what is or is not equitable, what is or is not diverse, what is or is not inclusive. You'll also find that there are some of the thought leaders, so to speak. Like, I always think of this line I saw on Joy Reid show, a clip when she had on Ibram X. Kendi. And he talked about what we need in this country is equity and justice for all. And I went, wait, I remember grade school and middle school and high school. I remember the Pledge of Allegiance. Isn't it liberty and justice for all? When was liberty replaced by equity? And given that human beings, even when they are treating each other fairly, are incredibly different, and some will be more successful than others by merit and by luck, then doesn't that give somebody a blank check? If you replace liberty with equity, that gives somebody a blank check to tell you exactly what you can do in every aspect of your life. The drive for equality of outcome, the drive for equality beyond equality of the law, always sacrifices liberty. And I think all Americans, including Black Americans, can have a lot with liberty and justice for all. And I maintain if we set the American people free from all these schemes that aren't serving us well, sadly, actually everybody's going to be better off. Everybody. That's just my humble take. But now I want to go to a clip that came out on BET. And it's called, well, Black America Votes. Listening to Black voters. And some of this is quite interesting. Let's listen in together. On that fascinating, not just the guy saying, I'm looking at Trump. It's more the moment where he's talking about, I think he's running a business. And he's also, given the business he's running, he's serving the community. And I'm sure he's quite aware of what other people are saying and thinking about and experiencing out there. And he's saying the inflation's too tough. I'm tired of paying $8 for eggs. And did you hear the reporter say an amazing thing? So even though we're improving economically, there's a disconnect. Maybe, ma'am, we're not improving economically. Maybe the markers that everybody points to, whether you're looking at, well, the CPI is a little bit down year over year. We've decreased, it's still increasing, but it's not increasing by as much. Oh, the GDP is going great. Wait, GDP, essentially pumped up high on government spending based on money we don't have. So government issued debt is pumping the GDP. Are we sure that's actually leading to true economic growth? Or is in fact that the exact thing that's making that guy and so many other Americans pay $8 for eggs? And I think it's incredible. The official narrative, when they talk to people living their lives who aren't that politically minded, they want to pay attention, they want to choose the right person, but at the end of the day, they're trying to run a business, run a family, enjoy life, survive and thrive. It's amazing when you go talk to those folks. Well, we just can't take them at their word. They're just ignorant of the GDP numbers that came out this quarter, and they're ignorant of, The corporate press is the enemy of the people. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and her team are ready to help you with, well, buying your home. And it could be your very first time, or it could be you've bought a few homes, you've gone through the process a few times, but you're looking for folks who are local, people that you can trust, or maybe you're a veteran. They know the latest there at Alabama Home Mortgage when it comes to the VA home loan programs. Or maybe you're looking to refinance. Could be you want to pay off credit card debts. Or you want to help out somebody in your family, reinvest in your family, reinvest in yourself, reinvest in your property. Well, they can do that there at Alabama Home Mortgage. Maybe you want to do a special rate refinance to help unload those outstanding student loans. Again, Alabama Home Mortgage can help with all this across the board. Not just because they're very skilled at what they do and they know the latest in the market and they can get you the best possible deal. It's because Kim and Madeline there at Alabama Home Mortgage are just great folks, easy to talk to, get along with. They'll sit down, get to know you, understand your goals in owning a home or refinancing your home, and they'll get you on the right track, walking with you every step of the way, hand in hand. So call them today, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always go online to myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Like Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Actually going to continue on with this video here. Again, this is BET talking to black voters around the nation. Very quick break, but I found this fascinating. And it seems to track with what I have been seeing out there. And I think it is a change in the larger culture in America. I think it is a product of the new media environment where it's not just cable news or it's not just BET. It's not just corporate media who's playing this game. There's this whole burgeoning new perspective. And at the end of the day, the kitchen table isn't a representation of patriarchy, you miserable a-holes. The kitchen table or the kitchen island or the living room couch, that's where folks hash out and realize, I'm getting kind of screwed here. Or no, you're not. You got to go with this person. It's where people hash out their differences. And the more folks are seeing that these bread and butter issues, the kitchen table issues, so to speak, are the key, they're either causing them their biggest problems or it will be the secret, the key to their greatest successes. Today, tomorrow, and generationally. Yeah, I'm not surprised that folks are starting to wake up. Now, hearing that clip from Trump, and you know, the blacks love me because they've been discriminated against too. Like, it's kind of funny, but it's also like, dude, well, he's not going to change. He's not going to change. Stop asking him to change. Just let him be Donnie from Queens. He's never going to stop doing it. Have you seen my sneakers? Like, yeah, but I got to hit this quick break. More news and views in the afternoon after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bells Cleaning Service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bells because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. A few more minutes for the top hour break and our final hour here on the program. Again, we are now live streaming the show. You can always go to Joey Clark Live on YouTube, watch there, or just put YouTube on the background and listen that way if you're having trouble with our app. And you can also watch on the X platform. That's at the Joey Clark on X, Twitter, whatever we're calling it these days. Now, where we left off, as they were at, I believe they said Clark University, and asking folks, what are the most important issues for you in this election? Talking to young black voters here. No, ma'am, it wasn't the Chinese flu. It went by many names, the China virus, COVID, and some even call it, I'm not saying I do, Kung Fu. Kung Flu. Like Kung Fu? Fighting? It's the Kung Flu. Let's go to Sam. Hey, Sam, how you doing?
Well, I'm over my fried rice fever. So, yeah, man, I haven't had to. Listen, I am healthy right now, and all of you sickies, all of y'all got me terrified. Real quick, Joey, man, good show, bro. See, about 4 years ago, one morning I was flipping around the dial. I stopped on the Breakfast Club. I heard Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey said, we going to vote Democrat, and they're going to owe us. Mm-hmm. And I'm just wondering if people of color, their community, have they collected on that debt yet? And that's my 2 cents.
Hell no.
You better get that. You better get them to pay up front. That's it. Biden's a taker, man. Him and his administration.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
sir,
not
that's my-
just him. It's just the way our politics has gone.
Absolutely.
That's why I think that RFK speech I played earlier is so powerful.
Yes, sir.
We'll see how it all shakes out. But and there are a lot of folks who are reassessing. The problem is you have a menu of bad or worse options. People want to vote for something positive, and maybe we'll see. But I appreciate it,
Oh,
Sam.
man. Yeah, thank you, Joy.
Again, 272-9228. If you want to get in on the program, it's 272-9228. Let's continue on with this a little bit more. Your voice is what you're using to say that. That's your voice. I hate that line. Your vote is your voice. How about I just use the line every politician uses? You know what? I'm going to sit this one out and let the voters of America decide for me. It's up to the voters of America. Mm-hmm. Which is just a great way of saying, I don't want to talk about this thing at this moment. I don't know, I'm sounding like Mike Pence right now or something to that degree. But, you should get out and vote. But let's not kid ourselves. It ain't your voice. Does it feel like your voice? It kind of feels like it constricts your voice, reduces your voice to what do they say, old men. And some guy who can barely talk. So if that's our voice... Whew. Now, the thing that guarantees your voice is the First Amendment, not exactly the right to vote. 272-9228. Actually, if more people remembered that, I think voting would be healthier and a lot of people would be better off and wouldn't fall for as many tricks if we kept in mind there are fundamental rights before we ever start interacting with the government and choosing our leaders that are much more important than anything any person or government could give to you. Now, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And they're at Pest Pro Services. Well, Ashley and that fantastic team, Pest Pro's been growing by leaps and bounds. The team's growing by leaps and bounds, has been for the last few years, and it's because they're that great. They're at Pest Pro Services. They show up on time. They get the job done well. Now, with things heating up, spring is, springing. It's sprung. No, it's in the middle of spring. Spring's here. And that means... mosquitoes are going to be back. Fire ants are going to be back. Termites are going to be back. Wasps are going to be back. Especially if you've got like outdoor shelters or storage facilities. Wasps love that stuff. I have to battle them every year. And if it gets out of your wheelhouse or you can't just use a spray can, call the pros there at Pest Pro Services. But especially call them to come out and look and inspect for termites. But you got to ask them. They'll do it for free. Ask about that free termite inspection and estimate. And you might as well get the treatment done. That is a lot less expensive than if you do, in fact, have major termite damage. Homeowners insurance doesn't cover either. You might as well get the treatment done so you don't have a much bigger bill later. So call Pest Pro today, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell them that you heard about him here from that Joey fella on the radio. Final hour of the program coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Robert Hur is testifying before the House Judiciary Committee about his investigation into the handling of classified documents by Democrat President Joe Biden. Hur concluded in his report the president should not face criminal charges. Committee Chairman Jim Jordan said at the start of the hearing that Joe Biden broke the law because he's a forgetful old man who would appear sympathetic to a jury. Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry has resigned, bowing to international pressure that seeks to save the country that's being overwhelmed by violent gangs. Caribbean leaders and Secretary of State Blinken met in Jamaica to urgently discuss the solution to halt Haiti's spiraling crisis. Stocks are sharply higher. The Dow is up 255 points. This is SRN News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Well, hi, everybody. Let that nice warming trend begin. In fact, today will be pretty comfortable with a high temperature in the lower 70s. That's close to normal, mostly sunny skies. Then partly cloudy, not as cold tonight. Overnight low temperature down to about 42. More sunshine tomorrow with a high in the mid-70s. We'll be near 80 Thursday. Risk of showers and thunderstorms returns to the forecast by late Thursday night, and rain and thunderstorms widespread on Friday. Locally heavy rain. And the risk of rain continues over the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you once again for voting ASE the best credit union and best mortgage company in Central Alabama's Reader's Choice Awards. We're honored to serve our members for 69 years and counting.
ASE Credit Union, your life, your goals, your ASE.
1819 News.
State lawmaker John Rogers has agreed to plead guilty to conspiracy charges and to also step down from his position within the Alabama House of Representatives. Last summer, Rogers was charged for taking part in a scheme to defraud the Jefferson County Community Service Fund. He was charged along with fellow state lawmaker Fred Plump Jr. and Plump Jr.'s assistant, Barry Kindle. Plum has already resigned from his public office, and Kindle has pleaded guilty to conspiring with both Rogers and Plum to defraud the fund, which occurred between 2018 and 2022. All three were charged by U.S. Attorney Prim Escalona after an investigation by special federal agents from the IRS and the FBI. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
Good news out of Blount County. A runaway 10-year-old girl has been found by authorities and is in a safe place. Alexa Bliss went missing on Sunday morning from her Blountsville home and was found on Monday afternoon. Governor Ivey announces that a new company is coming to Dothan. Southern Roots Nut Company will expand into the area and bring 100 jobs with them. The company will be investing $16 million for a new facility and the reconstruction of another existing building. This will create a center for processing, storing, and distributing the raw pecans. The NASA SpaceX capsule dropped down to Earth early this Tuesday morning. The Dragon Endurance landed in the Gulf of Mexico off the Florida Panhandle coastline. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
I'm with Miss Dot at the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall. How was your anniversary sale, Dot?
It was just wonderful, and I want to thank everybody that came out. It was a great time. It meant so much to me for it to be 30 years, and y'all just came out and made my day.
Well, spring is almost here. Is Eastbrook ready?
We're beginning to get the patio tables and chairs out. We've got so much there, it's hard to put it into a minute commercial. You just got to come see what we got. You know, we've got 3 floors and 60,000 square feet. So just come see us, because we probably got a sale or two going, and our merchandise is pretty reasonable, I think. We don't charge a commission to the vendors, and so our prices are able to be a little bit less than some other places.
Give us those hours of operation.
Monday through Friday, 10 until 6. Saturday, 9 until 6. And Sunday is 12:30 to 4:30.
That's the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall, 425 Coliseum Boulevard.
So y'all come on by and see us. We'd love to have you.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final hour of news and views in the afternoon. And now it is a leading story on 1819 News. I saw this clip a little earlier today, but Nick Saban essentially talking about how, well, all the things he grew up loving, all the things he thought college football was all about, it's just not there anymore. I think he really is laying it at the feet of NIL. I believe he is laying it at the feet of this brand new, well, it's become all about the money. Well, yeah, but didn't it, this is what I find interesting, wasn't it, did it become all about the money when the players got paid, or when the big TV contracts were going out? When athletic departments, especially big football schools, started funding everything else around the campus in terms of athletic. When did it become about the money exactly? Not saying, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with Nick Saban at all, but I am wondering, well, when exactly did it become all about the money? And I'm not just talking about college football, but here is Coach Saban sitting next to Senator Ted Cruz. Never thought I'd see that shot before. But here they are at a short clip here, a meeting, and Saban, well, talks about what he's seen, the changes in college football over all the years of his coaching.
All the things that I believed in for all these years, 50 years of coaching, no longer exist in college athletics. So it's always about developing players. It was always about helping people be more successful in life. My wife even said to me, we'd have all the recruits over on Sunday with their parents for breakfast, and she would always meet with the mothers and talk about how she was going to help and impact their sons and how they would be well taken care of. And she came to me, like right before I retired, and said, why are we doing this? And I said, what do you mean? She said, all they care about is how much you're going to pay them. They don't care about how you're going to develop them, which is all what we've always done. So why are we doing this?
Well, I think they've got a point, though. And it is a shame. I have friends who went to the University of Alabama, and some had the privilege of working with the recruiting program there under Saban. And so they saw Saban up close and personal with these kids, these young men he was recruiting. And they said the guy, he could be very hard, very harsh taskmaster, but he also had a grace and understanding. I think it's what made his team so good. It's what made him such an effective coach on the field, is that he understood that this is about more than X's and O's. It's about building up strong young men. Which, if you don't agree with that, I don't think it should just be about the money. I think you're just wrong there. But, how much did Coach Saban get paid over all these years? So the coaches can get paid gangbusters, and they deserve it. They're winning. These TV networks can make bank off these big, high-profile marketing campaigns because you got all those eyeballs that want to watch Alabama play on a college football Saturday. So it's all right when corporate America and the elite make a bunch of money, but it's now not about the players. I don't think the making of money for players is necessarily mutually exclusive from building up strong young men who have their minds right. Will there be guys now who make the choice because they can to go into the portal, jump to some other team just for the money? Sure. But I'd imagine you're still going to have players, including blue chip recruits, who say, I want to go to this particular school because I want more than just money. The money might be there. I might get a great licensing deal. I'd imagine even with Saban there, you can get a heck of a lot of a great licensing deal and still be a great player and grow up there, mature there. I just found that interesting, very interesting. When exactly did it become all about the money? 272-9228. Now, he goes on to say, how does this even impact other sports relative to Title IX, relative to non-revenue sports? How do we continue to create some kind of model moving forward where we do improve the quality of life of the student athlete, but create some kind of balance in terms of competitive balance, which all venues have some guidelines and rules that create some kind of competitive balance, which right now we don't have in college athletics. It's whoever wants to pay the most money, raise the most money, buy the most players is going to have the best opportunity to win. I don't think that's the spirit of college athletics. I don't think it's ever been the spirit of what we want in college athletics. That's my major concern, the combination of pay for play, free agency, and how that impacts development. Saban, maybe we just got a glimpse into why he retired. I think we might have. But I think when it became about money was long before the players started getting paid. Give me a break. Well, let's go to line one. You're on the air. Who's this?
Please play that baby crying. Thanks for saving for me, Joey. Please, sir. Cause hell, he didn't whine when he got paid $4 million when he got there, and he got several raises since then. He didn't turn down any of those, did he?
No, he didn't turn any of that down. How you doing, Duke?
I'm doing fine. How you, sir?
I'm doing all right.
I had to go right on into that one because he's a hypocrite. He got his. A few players along the way got broke up along the way, and they sit down home now, flipping through scrolls and all that, and not getting any money. Huh?
Yeah.
Prothro one that comes to mind. Prothro.
Well, he goes on, he says he favors some type of revenue-sharing alternate to the status quo where athletes are also allowed to profit off their NIL through advertisements and brand deals. He said, quote, Bryce Young had a Nissan deal that was a national deal. He had a Dr. Pepper deal that was a national deal. He had a BMW deal that was a national deal. He earned those. That's what name, image, and likeness was supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be an opportunity for us to create something that would pay players. Because the genie is out of the bottle, we should do something to revenue share and still have those name, image, and likeness opportunities.
Nicky boy can't buy the best players by himself anymore. See, everybody else buying them too. So he all mad and swole up now and quit the game. See, cause all that. See, don't get me started with Nicky boy. I'm glad you're gone, Nicky boy. Now stop whining.
Wow. Now, Duke, of all the things you've said on these airwaves, and you've said a lot, and so have I.
I mean, what's the guy at LSU? When time he showed up, he got so many millions, and Nick got jealous and had to get his bumped up a little bit more.
Right. Yeah, it's. Right. I think Saban's got a point, but it is a little rich. It's like, when did it become all about the money? Come on, man.
Look at Hugh Freeze. Old Gus told him how to get him some. They go out there and lose you 2 or 3 games. He had to buy you in 2 or 3 years.
Well, and it seems like a lot of these folks just have a problem with capitalism. It's almost like Saban's a socialist.
Old Bama's like a whine, and all of a sudden, I don't care about y'all whining. The Bama's, it's time for y'all to get some payback.
Well, no, dude, get the load of this quote. He goes on. He says, quote, you're going to create a caste system where the rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer, and eventually the fans will look at it like, I really don't want to watch this game. I don't think this funding collectives is sustainable because eventually people are going to say, I don't want to continue to do this because we're paying a player and the player is not there. And it's like, what do you mean the rich getting richer and the poor getting poor? They weren't getting paid they weren't getting paid anything. Well, these schools
Go
are
on,
built,
nigga,
they're
boy.
like these huge little cities. Like, I saw it happen at Auburn. It's absurd.
He's starting to sound like a. No, I ain't saying nothing about her because I sat at my table earlier today. I ain't saying nothing about her. I sat at my table today and
You sat at your table?
table. I thought about some stuff. I ain't gonna say nothing about her. Oh, let me go. If I get started.
Wait, you're not going to do impersonation of Senator Brett?
Slip of the tongue. I want to have a slip of the tongue talking about her today.
Well, it's fair. If you want to talk about Senator Brett.
Today, I'm gonna be a nice guy today. I ain't gonna say nothing bad
All right.
about her because
All right.
she came on your show and everything, and and everything. She's a sweet person and
thought she
everything.
looked
She got
great.
nice ways.
I mean,
she's a sweet person. All right, let me leave it at that. Bye.
let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this? Hello? You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Joey, is this me?
Yes.
Hey, sorry, it's Josh, man.
Hey, Josh. How you doing?
Good. Welcome to Barner Radio. I agree with a lot of what y'all are saying. Saban, he produced a product. He was a CEO of an organization that produced a good product. A lot of those kids ended up going to the NFL and making multi-million dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And all that. Now with the transition with NIL and everything, it's all right. What do you give me if I come there? I don't have to show you my ability anymore. Just kind of swing to the wayside. The times are changing, is what Bob Dylan would say.
Well, and I don't mind the idea of like tightening up how people could move. Like if you made a commitment, you made a commitment, damn it. And I don't care if somebody gave you a better offer. There could be some ways to tighten that up. But the idea of that this all of a sudden became about money when the players started getting paid, give me a break.
Yeah, no kidding. I agree with you 100% on that, man. But, all right, well, guess I'm listening always. I'll let you later.
Appreciate it, Josh. Again, 272-9228 if you want to hop in and join the program. That's 272-9228. And I'm even talking to some of y'all watching online, some of y'all watching on the X platform. Give us a call wherever you're watching or listening from. And, the X platform at the Joey Clark or Joey Clark Live on YouTube if you want to watch the live stream and comment. And we've got some comments flowing in. Guptown John, my old friend, says the NCAA is to blame for the NIL issues. Shouldn't have been a surprise to anyone because the NCAA is inept. The NCAA lost their monopoly over the money, and that was what they were good for. He goes on, he says the NIL just made everything above board. So now every school could have their own Pony Express like SMU did, to get their respective quote-unquote death penalty. Yeah, like, again, a lot of this was going on behind the scenes anyway. Mark Cumby weighing in saying it was Nick's contract that he made $1 more than any other coach in college football. That's a great rule. I mean, who's the agent that negotiated that contract? Pay that man, too. Like, all of a sudden, self-interest, again, self-interest is not necessarily at odds with all the other values. The whole point of being and maturing from a young man to a grown man is you can go on in life and accomplish a lot of great things. You better believe me, before NIL, part of the pitch was if you come to Alabama and you perform well, you're going to get that NFL contract. And you'll be ready, much more ready for the NFL than some other schools could offer you and other programs and other schemes. Jimmy Sexton is Saban's agent. Okay. Well, give Mr. Sexton a ton in gold. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Jimmy Sexton represents just about everybody.
No wonder.
I mean, he represented that dude in Washington before he came to Alabama, DeBoer.
Oh, yeah. Man, that makes
He
sense.
represents Lane Kiffin. He represents, what's that other dude over in South Carolina that they thought was coming? Anyway.
Yeah, my friend's saying he represents like 90% of the SEC coaches.
Okay, well, I could have just said that at the same time. But, okay, there's two ways to do this. One, well, actually the second way is the way I prefer. The first way, I don't prefer this, is you don't play players anything. They get a college scholarship. That's it. If the NFL wants to use it as a farm system, then let them pay for it. Okay. The second way to do it is, you get NIL, make all you can, but you sign a contract. So if you sign, say, with Alabama, and your NIL money is coming in, then you're stuck here 5 years, just like the NFL does. When you're in and you can't transfer. See, right now there's twice a year they can transfer. Of course, everybody can transfer anytime the coach changes. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But the NFL people, I mean, you're there. In fact, they just tagged what they call it, franchise tag. They just put franchise tags on a lot of people that their contract was up, and they said, nope, we're putting a franchise tag on Joey Clark. He can't work for another radio station for a year. Well, of course, y'all got that anyway.
Yeah.
But you know
Thanks for the reminder.
They can't work for. If they work, they can't play football. So if they put a franchise, they can only do one. They got one player. They can pick that player. His contract is up. He could free agent to go somewhere else. And they go, nope, you're a franchise player. So he's stuck for another year. But see, we don't have any contracts with the college players. So this would be the better way to do it is make the players sign a contract when they take NIL money. Now, is it fair? Because there's going to be a lot of people that aren't getting NIL money. The rowing team's not, the fishing team's not, the girls volleyball not.
How many people want to watch rowing and girls volleyball? There are a few.
Exactly. There's no money in it.
It's like the complaints by the women's soccer team or the WNBA. It's like, well, when you have the same number of eyeballs on you, okay, we'll talk.
Yeah, but they all say we're all athletes, and they want it split up equally. You know. But so anyway, it is. So you can go back to the old school way where you can't pay anybody unless you do like Bear Bryant dropping it, cash in a hay bale out of Texas,
or those expensive handshakes. Yeah.
Or what about at Auburn, man?
Mm-hmm.
They had all these Camaras out there, and there was a big bass boat. They didn't own them.
Yeah, the Terry Bowden era was interesting, right?
No, it's before this man died.
Oh, wow.
And I'm older than you.
You're right.
But anyway, they did not own them. But they had a Ranger bass boat. It was on loan from Ray Scott, who owned the Bassmasters, who created it. And then all the new cars were on loan from a dealership. They didn't own them, but they had them.
Right.
It was great, man. All right. I don't know. It's a mess. It ain't going to get figured out anytime soon. But at least if they're going to do NIL, make them sign a contract, and then they're stuck. And that's why Saban just said, okay, look, I'm not going to live long enough for them to get it figured out, so I'm going to do something else. Yeah. I've already done all the damage I can do here. So.
Well, and we'll see. I know Tuberville and Manchin were trying to work on something like this from the federal level, and I think Tuberville's also a roundtable day about Title IX with all sorts of the less money-making sports. But it should be interesting to see what they come up with. Appreciate the call.
It's going to have to be federal because each state can't just do something different. Anyway, all right, buddy, talk to you later. Bye.
Later. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Mr. Pink.
Hey, Mr. Pink, how you doing?
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, welcome back, man. Good to have you back.
Yeah, good to be back.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you need a vacation, man, to just wash that stuff off.
Yeah, no, I had a great time. Always good to see old friends.
Good deal, man. What are we talking about today, man?
I've been all over the place. We were talking about right now, Saban essentially saying it's changed. NIL changed everything. It's become all about how much you can pay people. It's become all about the money, which I'm like,
that's capitalism, baby. That's capitalism.
Right. And when
I like it.
When did it become about the money? Well, just when the players got paid? What about those TV contracts? Which, I think Saban understands that, and a lot of folks understand that now. But yeah, I have no problem with that at all.
Oh yeah, because not everybody is going to the league. So I mean, if you can get $1 million every year, I mean, you can get you a degree, maybe 2, and you got a couple of $1 million. You know, you can go buy your mama that house that does what you want to do. You got a nice foundation, man. So I'm not against it.
Yeah, and he was talking about how the whole point was to create values and raise up strong, young men into grown men. I'm like, well, making money is part of becoming a grown man, I thought. Providing.
But all that stuff that we grew up on, man, it's time to throw it out the door. I'm not saying that. It's just what it is. It's all about that money. No, you can't talk about the values. I had a first cousin went to Alabama, Brandon Gibson, scholarship, got 2 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Didn't go to the league. He's doing just fine, doing knee surgery, And, they take care of the people. I mean, Nick Saban made you want to play for him. He made you a better person. That's why he busted people. He didn't accept that. I went to a lot of those games, man. I even went to an Iron Bowl and got a good appreciation for Auburn and the Auburn fans, man. They was really nice to me.
Yeah, no, it's a fun rivalry, other than the whole tree poisoning thing and all that. I'm sorry, I can't help it myself. But I appreciate it, Mr. Pink. Appreciate the call, man.
All right. I got a quick question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why is everybody trying to get my vote, man? Why is everybody trying to get this black vote?
Oh, it's because if the trends change, like, for instance, the numbers we just shared, I played a BET talking to black voters in Georgia in particular, and it's that 91% went for Biden, 8% something like for Trump. And so if that 91 goes, I'm not a numbers guy, but if it goes to an 85, that can, in a place like Georgia, make a huge difference, and it can win Trump the election. So, the coalition the Democrats have built over the generations now, if that gets chipped away just a little bit with black voters and with Hispanic voters, the only thing they would be able to bank on is the male-female divide, which is, I think, the biggest divide right now.
Yeah, why not try to get more white voters? What's wrong with that?
No, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. It's more like what's historically been the breakdown and what gets you over, on the margins, what gets you over. And
well, I don't want any handouts, and you can get my vote if you give me a state. I even take Mississippi. I need to have a governor, 2 senators, and a couple of Congress people.
There you go.
Then you can see some change. Like I said, like black people can run their own community. If somebody commits a rape or a murder, trust me, that community is gonna take that person out back and do what they got to do.
Yeah.
So you gotta just, like, if you keep giving somebody something, like, they're never gonna learn. You gotta let them get out there, fail, and then they'll what they say, tighten up them bootstraps. So that's all I got to say.
Well, I appreciate it, Mr. Pink.
Yes, sir.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by, again, Montgomery Men's Health. And men, as we get older, and not just as we get older, but definitely as we get older, you start to produce less testosterone. It's just a natural thing, especially as you get in your 40s, 50s, 60s. Your T production is just not going to be what it was in your 20s. But here's the deal. There are a lot of young men who are also walking around with low T and they don't know it. They constantly just feel like crap, low energy, no drive really to go throughout the day, physically or mentally, including a decreased sex drive. Just feel like you're walking through life in a fog. Well, knowing whether it's low testosterone causing these issues is huge in combating those issues. And again, there are a lot of guys walking around who don't know that's the underlying problem. So the providers at Montgomery Men's Health can help you understand what's going on with you. They'll conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And they have treatments there for low T, if that is in fact your problem. They can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism to get that weight gain off you. You usually even notice an increased libido. And you can actually book the same day as you call. So why not? Right now, call them up. Montgomery Men's Health, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. And be sure to tell them that Joey from the radio show sent you. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228. If you want to get in on the program, that's 334-272-9228. Now, I want to go to an unknown to me until this morning. This fella's name is Adam Morgan. He's running for Congress in the great state of South Carolina. And he's the chairman of the South Carolina Freedom Caucus. And a video of him has gone a bit viral. This is within the South Carolina House, I believe, the South Carolina legislature. And this exchange shows why I think this guy, Adam Morgan, is a rising star. Let's listen in together.
The pressure in here in Columbia is for me to not even vote red on the board. Y'all might not know this. A dark money entity that was created on Tuesday, the day after we voted for this, I went home and a attack piece went out in my whole district about the fact that I voted for this. I get that the people in Columbia, that the lobby wants me to either not vote or to vote green on this, but my constituents want me to vote red, and they want their tax money spent on core government functions.
Okay, I love what he's saying so far, but I know what Eddie would be saying right now. Nerd alert! Nerd alert! Keep going.
On their roads, on their schools. That's what they want their money spent on. They don't want us in here trying to play this government planning thing where we in our bureaus can figure out where the jobs should be, who should be employed, how much money should be allocated where in the private sector. It never works. It's socialism. It's never worked anywhere before. So what are we doing trying to do it here?
But would you consider the fact that South Carolina's track record on bringing major projects into this state has a winning record, and therefore, again, commerce should be listened to rather than those people back in your district that may not have ever brokered a deal, may not understand what it means to being a project, may not understand economic incentives. So what you're suggesting is we should listen to the people back home in your district rather than the people at commerce that have been successful at bringing these mega deals to South Carolina.
Mr. Rutherford, I don't think that you could have espoused a philosophy that disagrees more fundamentally than me. I completely disagree with you, and I think that you believe what you just said. But no, I 100% am going to listen to the people back home who I represent in this House, and you should listen to the 40,000 people in your area, and not the bureaucrats at Commerce, and not the lobbyists, and not the multi-billion-dollar international corporations. You should listen to your constituents like I am. So yes, I will always fall back on the common sense of the wonderful people from Taylor's and Greenville Eastside, far more than I will ever listen to unelected bureaucrats, other representatives in here who have been here for far too long and have maybe managed a whole lot of these deals, and far more than I will ever listen to any member out there.
Wow. Well, it's not just Alabama where you get those sorts of fights, folks, and fascinating exchange there. So, yeah, but what if the people I represent are too stupid to understand? Well, and this, it's a guaranteed, jobs program. We're going to really get something well for the state. You got to, deal with the elite who are making, deals for themselves, and then everybody else can get the second, third order effects, and everything will be fine and dandy, right? Yeah, right. Fine and dandy. This part of the program brought to you by, again, Dylan Rings. And don't forget, folks, for the celebration of Josh Ryder's 50th birthday, they have 50% off on 50% of their inventory for 50% of the month of March. That means that sale ends on Saturday. So I suggest you get there today at 119 Brown Springs Road. If you can't get there today, you should probably get there tomorrow. Again, 119 Brown Springs Road. And if you want to look on your phone real quick, you can just search Dylan Rings on Facebook or on Instagram, and you can see some of these amazing items, amazing jewelry pieces for 50% off. Really, really amazing deal. It's to celebrate, commemorate the big 5-0 for Josh Ryder over there. And of course, Josh and Leslie Ryder have created not just a shop with great inventory with wonderful discounts. They also have created a full service jewelry shop. That means if you need repairs done, if you need custom design work done, whether you're updating an old piece of jewelry or you're wanting to create something just out of your imagination, well, Josh Ryder can make it a reality. They also do, stone resetting, spa treatments. They really can, do it all there at Dylan Rings. Again, folks, it's the pollen. So check them out today. Again, 119 Brown Springs Road. You don't want to miss out on this 50% off sale in Saturday. So get by Dylan Rings and be sure to tell Josh Ryder, hey, happy birthday, man. More news and views after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group. Have you ever considered turning your home into a rental and build wealth at the same time? People throughout the river region are doing that right now. By investing wisely in the right property or turning your current home into a rental is the secret. Hiring a property manager to professionally manage your property is the way to prosperity. Our company does all of the advertising, personally showing prospective tenants, does a thorough background check and credit report before moving forward. Over 15 critical services are provided to our clients in protecting the asset, but also providing the best residence in your home possible, collecting rent on time, and frequent inspections help landlords feel better about renting their house, and to provide clean, well-kept homes that anybody would be proud to call home. For a complete list of property management services, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage.
And I'm Madeline Cannon. It's true, rates aren't as low as they have been for the past couple of years, but there are still many homeowners that could benefit from refinancing their current mortgage. There are a lot of things in life that are out of our control, but your mortgage rate is not one of them. If you currently have an adjustable rate mortgage, then you owe it to yourself to give us a call.
Adjustable rate mortgages make sense for some people in stable markets, but in this wild, ever-changing rate environment, it only makes sense to secure a fixed interest rate. A fixed interest rate will give you the peace of mind that your rate is locked. Your rate will not be subject to change with the political and economic tides.
At Alabama Home Mortgage, you can personalize your term. We offer 8-year to 30-year mortgages and everything in between. Grab your mortgage statement and give us a call.
Call Alabama Home Mortgage, the #1 mortgage lender in Alabama, today at 567-4223, or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36A, Equal Housing Lender. Hey there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. Our partnership with Blue Water Broadcasting has reached thousands of listeners in the River region. People listen. People call. Now, there's mortgage savings for us all.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by the Johnny Adams Law Firm. They want you to stay safe on the road. Please don't text and drive. Get to your destination safely. Your family and friends will thank you. From the Johnny Adams Law Firm.
Well, hi, everybody. Let that nice warming trend begin. In fact, today will be pretty comfortable with a high temperature in the lower 70s. That's close to normal, mostly sunny skies. Then partly cloudy, not as cold tonight. Overnight low temperature down to about 42. More sunshine tomorrow with a high in the mid-70s. We'll be near 80 Thursday. Risk of showers and thunderstorms returns to the forecast by late Thursday night, and rain and thunderstorms widespread on Friday, locally heavy rain. And the risk of rain continues over the weekend. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Now, while I still have time, I'm going to share this from the desk of Jonathan Turley. It's an essay he wrote called Nightmare Scenario, How a Trump Trial Could Now Run Up to or Through the 2024 Election. This trial will not yield to the election cycle. Those words of U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan last year made clear that she will not consider that Donald Trump will likely be the 2024 Republican presidential nominee in setting the schedule for his federal trial in Washington, D.C. Most recently, in the federal prosecution in Florida, special counsel Jack Smith declared he will no longer consider himself bound by the Justice Department's long-standing policy of not bringing charges or holding trials of candidates close to an election. With the Supreme Court reviewing the immunity question and a decision not expected until June, a nightmare scenario is unfolding in which Trump could be tried not just before the general election, but actually through November's election. Chutkan has insisted that her refusal to consider Trump's candidacy is simply denying special treatment to the former president. But there is nothing typical about how she and others have handled the case. Again, this is from Jonathan Turley. The fact that Chutkan was pushing for a March trial date shows just how extraordinary her handling has been. In the D.C. courts, With thousands of stacked up cases, that would be a rocket docket for a complex case of this kind. When there are roughly 770,000 pending cases in roughly 100 district courts around the country. The backlog of pending criminal cases in the federal court system increased by more than a quarter in the last 5 years. Even when defendants plead guilty, criminal cases average 10 months. If a trial is needed, it runs on average to 2 years, absent serious complications over classified or privileged material. Smith indicted Trump less than a year ago. At every juncture, Smith has tried to expedite and spur the case along. This has included an attempt to cut off standard appellate options for Trump. It seems as if the entire point is to try Trump before the election. Smith has offered no reason other than he wants voters to consider the outcome of the trial. It is a rare acknowledgement of a desire for a trial to become a factor in an election. I'm sorry, you cannot say, hey, I'm not doing this. I don't care about the election cycle because I don't want special treatment. When you have the prosecutor literally saying, I want to do this trial to affect the election. And Judge Chutkan, sadly, it's not just the prosecution, has shown the same determination, according to Jonathan Turley. The judge was criticized for comments she made before any charges were brought that strongly suggested she thought Trump should be criminally charged. Chutkan told one defendant that he showed, quote, blind loyalty to one person who, by the way, remains free to this day. In another case, Chutkan told the defendant that it was unfair that he might go to prison, but that the architects of that horrific event will likely never be charged. When asked to recuse herself, Chutkan denied the clear implication of her own words. She insisted that she has not expressly stated that President Trump should be prosecuted and imprisoned. And the defense does not cite any instance of the court ever uttering those words or anything similar. Of course, neither the court nor the prosecutors seem willing to apply a similarly deferential view of the meaning of Trump's words within the context of the case. There, the implications are sufficient for that one person described earlier by the court. And the judge, Chutkan, is now reportedly telling parties in other cases that she will be out of the country in August and that defendants will have to delay any proceedings in light of her plans unless she can try Trump. She told lawyers that she will stick with her schedule unless I'm in trial in another matter that has not yet returned to my calendar. Wow. Let's go to line one. You're on the air. Who's this?
It's Ethel.
Hey, Ethel.
I just wanted to say a couple of things. Do you remember when the election in 2020, it was before the election, and Biden was having a press conference, and he said, we have devised the most detailed cheating of any election ever.
Or something to that effect, yeah.
Yes, that is what he said. And then he had another press conference, and he said, we are going to keep Trump very busy. It'll all be legal, but he's going to be busy and won't be able to run for president. So it's all planned by the Democrats.
Oh, yeah. This is a huge tactic that's about the election as they deny it being about politics. Goodness gracious.
And, you know, talking about what Biden has done, what Biden has done for illegal is criminal because he has basically abandoned Americans. And if I had anything to say to any voter, why should you vote for Trump? It's because it isn't about you, it's about illegal. And the hundreds of billions of dollars that he has given them when we have Americans that need help and nowhere to be found. No help.
I appreciate the call, Ethel. It's a shame that where our country is these days. It really is.
It is. Have a blessed one.
You too. God bless. 272-9228. Continue on here with Jonathan Turley. He says, the Trump trials are troubling precisely because they are being handled differently because of who the defendant is. No one can seriously suggest that Judge Chutkan would be moving other cases or canceling trips in order to shoehorn them into the calendar this year if it were not for the election in the name of the defendant. Such cases are, after all, notorious for taking years to work out complicated pretrial matters. Most citizens already see that reality. State prosecutors in New York and Georgia waited for years to charge Trump, then pushed to expedite those schedules in order to try him before the election. That brings us back to Judge Chutkan's pledge to not yield to the election cycle. Yet the expedited effort of the court seems clearly motivated by the election cycle. She and Smith are depending on the election cycle as they struggle to pull Trump into court at the height of a presidential campaign. It is a schedule conceived for the quote-unquote one person described by Chutkan in the earlier cases. As the calendar continues to shrink, claims of blind justice increasingly look like the blind pursuit of a specific person.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
How do you know once you pass that family and friends will get what you promised and that someone won't destroy or replace your will or trust with a fake one? How many copies of your will do you have, and do your loved ones know where it is? Every time you change your will, you have to copy, distribute, and have it notarized. Put a stop to all of this at secureawill.com, where your important documents like last will, trust, or goodbye letter are stored until your passing. Then they send your info to whomever you've requested. You'll be 100% safe with voice biometrics and their new video signature. Visit them at secure-a-will.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, as usual, we have Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet on the line. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Well, I'm sitting in the office patiently waiting on Angie to call so we can go look for a dryer.
Okay, you're in the market for a new dryer.
Yeah, mistakes were made. I did not go to Cohen's. I know.
Yeah, I was about to
Everything
say,
else,
come on, man.
everything else in the house came from Cohen's except for the washer dryer. And it's not even 2 years old, and I'm going to go out to Cohen's and get me a good washer dryer.
Yeah, he can set you up, man.
Yeah. Mistakes were made. It was my fault. I know not to buy appliances from anybody but Cohen's, and I did it. Oh, I'll save $1. And I preach it everywhere today. Don't go to the big box and try to save $1. It's going to cost you $20.
Exactly right. You got to go with quality and value, not just the almighty dollar.
Our prices will match the big box stores every single time if y'all just give us an opportunity. And we're not going to lie to you and say, hey, we're going to install it for free. Because they're not.
Right.
They're paying somebody to do that. Look at the bottom line towards our bottom line, and we're going to beat them 90% of the time if we're going same product.
Folks,
so if you're in the market for the floor, don't make a Ray Bowles mistake and go to the big box store, because then you're going to be doing the drive of shame to the next store.
Well, and this is why, folks, you got to go with great local small business, family-owned small business. That's so many of our sponsors, especially Prattville Carpet. That number, 285-8117. Call 285-8117. Ask for a free in-home measurement so you can get all set up on your resurface job. And be sure also when you call to tell them you heard Ray here on the radio with that Joey fella.
And tomorrow, I should be able to answer the phone. I'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
I'm flying out at 7 and flying back in at 10.
Woo.
So, yeah, long day for me tomorrow, but I'd like to sleep in my own bed. I do not want to sleep in a hotel.
Well, good luck with all that, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you, Ray.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Again, that's Ray Bowles, Prattville Carpet. Called today. Let's go to Papa B.
Papa B. You know what amazes me about Jonathan Turley is I wonder how long it's taken him to come to the light. You know, why does it take so long for folks to come to the conclusion, the rightful conclusion, and the only conclusion that he's come to? I'm kind of perplexed by that, Joey, just a little bit, because if I'm not mistaken, he was one of the ones that was, you know, in the gallery saying, oh, something's trouble here. Oh, better watch out for that. Not understanding or even having a clue that, hey, wait a minute, all of these are not about law or justice. It's all about election interference. It's about get Trump. So quick. Does it? It just hasn't taken me very long. Maybe I've just seen enough of the myth.
Well, but you can come to the conclusion that it's all about getting Trump. It's about the election, but also say, hey, watch out. They're pretty serious about it. It looks like they're not stopping.
Well, yeah, of course. They're not going to stop. They're going to do look. If they could take the man to the hangman's noose, they would do it.
Yep.
Okay? That's just how much animus they have toward him. The only thing I would hope for, though, is that when Jonathan Turley puts an article like that out, maybe, just maybe, there are just a few more people that finally take a serious look at it and say, you know what, he's got a point. And I guess it does break it down in a fashion that it's hard to argue with. So,
right.
As these people do come to terms with the fact that we have corruption in our judicial system, not just in the DOJ, but in the court system as well. And I don't know. Maybe people
will start to see that all that corruption and slowness and rot in the judicial system has to do with letting a government have a monopoly over it. But that's just me.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What a shock.
Well, good show. I've enjoyed it. So, hope you have a good one. I'll hopefully talk to you tomorrow, buddy boy.
Thanks, Papa B. 272-9228. So did we learn anything today, folks? Yeah, we learned a few things. We're stuck in a pretty difficult situation. Damned if we do, damned if we don't. It does feel like folks are reliant on these systems that they know are rotten, but we're reliant. Better word is dependent. And it really is just it's a sad thing. I mean, and we also learned today that, and it's still continuing to be top of the page there at 1819 News, it's going national now. It's been going national on social media. This Huntsville father calling out a butch-coated space queer, not his words. This is the words of this fella, born a male, claiming to be otherwise, and is part of the girls' dorm. This father has a daughter that was going to go to space camp, and he said, not so fast. The heck is going on there in y'all's dorms? That story, again, now gone viral, gone national. We also, I didn't get to this today, but it's not just the LA Times that just shut down their printing presses and kicked out a lot of people. I think that sports site, Deadspin, and they accused that young Chiefs fan of blackface or whatever. It wasn't just that. I think it's just people are tired of their coverage. They've closed shop. They were bought out by somebody, and nobody is going to be retained. This is a little bit different than those two, but it's in the same vein. From the Montgomery Advertiser, they report the Montgomery Advertiser's Riverfront production facility, which handles the daily printing and packaging of the Advertiser and other publications, will close in May. The Advertiser and its parent company, Gannett, announced the plant closure to production staff Tuesday. The Advertiser's news staff will continue to cover the community from new offices. So, that's interesting. End of an era, for certain. Hey, I got to get out of here, though. Appreciate all the love online and all the calls here in this last hour. Greg Budell and Happy Hour. Well, he's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Joe Biden